Hello and welcome to the Swamps again. This is a career reading for 2022. And then we have pile 1 here, pile 2 here, and pile 3 here. So let's get started. Again, minimal editing. I promise it'll get better with time here. Just give me a minute. All right. So, hello pile 1. This is your reading for your career 2022. The crystal on this pile is a red aura quartz, so I suggest doing some research on symbolism behind red aura quartz. Maybe there's a reason you are drawn to it that you don't know. So we're gonna put them here for now. And first we're gonna pull. Oh my gosh, I just remembered. Hang on a sec. I forgot to get the charms. So they're right over here. So sorry to do that. I wanted to do charms too, but so today we have tarot cards, oracle cards, and charms. I'm just using the Rider-Waite tarot today, and I'm just doing 2 tarot cards per group because I just feel like there doesn't need to be much more than 2. So we'll pull your oracle cards last, and we'll start with the tarot cards. So the first tarot card that I'm going to pull is the Fool. Okay, that's good. And the second one is that's good. There's definitely some kind of new career endeavor going on here. And I think you're going to find that whatever you're thinking about doing with this, if it's like an entrepreneurship or if it's just a new job that you're looking at, you're going to like it. This might even be something that you do long term. But let's pull the oracles to get a little bit more insight. We've got energy. We've got nature, and then we've got worth. So you have been worthy to belong, you have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. Okay, so what I'm getting here is that you might have a career. For some of you, this is going to be specific. For others, this might not apply to you, but there might be a career involving nature. You might be, I can't think of the name of it, but you might be doing something to do with like a ranger. There we go. Like a park ranger of some kind. You might be working at like a museum, and in that museum, there's like a nature exhibit of some kind, or a planetarium. Is that the one with the planets, or is that the one with the plants? You know, it's kind of like a museum, but for like plants. You might be doing that. You might be working at like Home Depot or something where they have like the plant section. You might be doing something like that, and you might really like it. Or for the entrepreneurials out there, you might be doing some kind of like YouTube channel about your plants, or you might be doing some kind of website to do with that, or you might be selling plants. Honestly, I'm getting a real planty vibe, especially with this energy card, because that's like a very flower-like geometric structure. So some of you that might not apply towards, but some of you it might. And whoever got this pile, honestly, I think that you have some big things coming, whether it's working for someone or working for yourself. These 2 cards together are I just really like them together because they have like, to me, they have like a similar energy in some kind of weird way. So you're definitely going to be starting a new thing. Let's pull some charms. So if you are listening with headphones, this might be a little loud, so turn it down a little. I have to put this phone down a little bit to open it. But let's pull some charms now. Oh my god, every single reading this cross has come out that I've done so far. So there might even be, for some of you, there might even be a like spiritual aspect to this. You might be starting up, like for the entrepreneurs, you might be starting up a spiritual business. You might be restarting it for some of you with this circle, because I find the circle is sort of like coming back to it. That's kind of what I like, coming back to something. So this circle might, for some of you, you might have like started an entrepreneurial endeavor and it didn't work out too great, but you're putting your foot back into the water, basically. There's a flower here, right by nature the flower fell, and there's a hat too. And the hat makes me really think of a park ranger for some of you. Some of you might be a park ranger. That's And honestly, that's a really cool job. I actually wanted to do that at one point. So I'm going to put that there. The hat could also be implying that there's a little bit of an unknown aspect to this. Sorry. There's a little bit of an unknown aspect to this in the sense that like you put on a hat to sometimes conceal yourself. So perhaps that has something to do with it. And then we have the butterfly as well as this little guy. He is, I think this is supposed to be a dragonfly, but I'm not sure because it's so short. But and then you have the butterflies, so both of these things are pretty naturey. There's probably going to be a growing experience from this. As with any new job new job venture, you're going to have a lot of growth to do. In the sense that you're going to be learning more, you're going to be, there's just more new stuff involved with having a new job. So I could definitely see that would be a growing experience. You have a starfish here. And the starfish reminds me of like regeneration. So maybe you're reaccumulating some kind of savings from this. And then you have these like religious symbols. I believe this one is a symbol for like an Islamic religion. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I am. And then this is like obviously the symbol for Christianity. So maybe this will be like a spiritual experience for some of you. I'm going to put that on the energy card. So maybe that's like a spiritual experience for some of you. From a message that I'm getting right now is that some of you are going to really find your self-worth from this new career. Like you might find a lot of meaning in doing whatever this is, especially if it's nature involved. For some of you that are trying to do anything that has to do with nature, there's definitely going to be like a spiritual connection with, if you're for example selling plants, there's definitely going to be like a spiritual connection with the plants. Or if you're like a park ranger, as I mentioned before, there's definitely going to be a connection there. So yeah, that's all I really have to say for this reading. I hope that this gives you some kind of insight for your career path this year. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you for coming to my reading. If any of the other piles speak to you, go ahead and click on them. Sometimes, we go through multiple jobs in one year. I definitely am somebody who does that. I'm not doing that now, but I used to do that for sure. So there's definitely no shame in doing that. But I honestly get a really good vibe from this pile, and I don't think a lot of you are going to be changing careers much for this year. So now we are moving on to pile number 2. Hello, pile number 2. So for this reading, it is a career reading for 2022. You chose the rose quartz. This is a nice little piece of rose quartz. So if you don't know much about rose quartz, please, I suggest looking up the symbolism for rose quartz and see how this may or may not apply to you. This is actually, I will give you a little insight. This is actually usually used in love readings, but for some reason I chose it for this career reading. So that's what that is. So we have oracle cards, tarot cards, and charms that we're going to pull. So we'll do your tarot cards first, and then we'll do your oracle cards. So the first tarot card is the Tower, and the second tarot card is the Three of Pentacles. So for some of you, you either got fired or you quit your job, but I do see some kind of opportunity coming soon. Honestly, I just heard that some of you are going to have friends that like suggest working with them. That's kind of what I get from this card. And honestly, I've worked with friends before, and I love working with friends. And actually, I want to say something really interesting that I've noticed about the spread that I just pulled here. I don't even know if this is really considered a spread, but these two cards, they both have like black backgrounds. And honestly, for me, like a black background or just like a plain void blackness, that is symbolic to me of like clearing energy. You're like clearing out this, this past job that you had might have been really not great. And this might be a renewal for you not working there. This might honestly renew a lot of your energy. You might have more opportunities because of that. That might be why this 3 is coming out here. I'm definitely getting the vibe for some of you that you're going to work with your friends, that you're going to like have an opportunity. And I don't know if this will be long term. It might just be like a short term thing, like an in between jobs kind of job. Like, I don't know if you've ever done that where you're just sort of like, you're not really that serious about the job that you're getting, but you just need an income right now. So I sort of get that vibe for some of you that you're just going to sort of pick up this job. Might not even be all year. You might honestly move on to something better after that, but you're definitely going to be moving on from either the job you're at now or you recently quit or got fired from your job. And honestly, there's no shame of getting fired. Well, I don't know, I can't really say that, but I've been fired. Everybody has the chance to, sometimes there are just really not great managers. And in my opinion, if you get fired, then it's not even really your fault. They shouldn't have hired you in the first place. Their judgment was poor if they didn't realize that you couldn't handle the job, essentially. And that's, again, there's no shame in that. I've had jobs that I just couldn't handle. So yeah, and for some of you, actually, I just got another message. You're not even being fired. You're just, you might just genuinely be over your job, and you might take some you might be consoling with your friends about it. Some of you it might just be a rough year with this job, and you're just going to take comfort in friendships, specifically like coworkers that you're friends with. Everything is really rough right now in the work area. I personally think. And the reason I say that is because my last job was getting really, really difficult because of the word that I can't say, or else I'll be demonetized, and I barely have any reach as is, so not a good idea to say it, but you know what, basically, because of the what, my last job was really difficult, and I had to leave it personally. And this can apply to me too. I had to console with friends and family, and it's not easy working a job that is just not compatible with you. So there's really no shame of being fired or being, quitting right now, especially at this time. Honestly, if you quit your job at this time because of the reason that I just stated, because everything's so difficult because of the what, there's really no shame in that, especially if you're on like a production line of some kind. Right now, production lines, and I know this because of my past job, they are just overloaded. So if you are specifically, this is a specific message because not everybody works a production line, but if you specifically are working or were working a production line and are thinking of quitting or recently quits, there is no shame in that, and you will find something to replace that job or that source of income soon. I can't promise you that it'll be permanent, but I can definitely tell you that there's going to be a replacement for that soon. So let's pull some oracles to get a little bit more insights. We've got reflection, we've got financial discipline, and we've got courage. Yeah, I like courage coming out for this. There's a lot of courage in leaving a job, there's a lot of courage. So what I'm getting from this particularly is that things might be a little rough right now, so you might need to actually not finance, that's not the word I wanted. You might need to just like sort out your savings and what you're going to do with them in the meantime before you get this filler job is what I'll call it. And if you have some time, like a few weeks where you're just not working, if you have the ability to do that, I think it's a good time to reflect on what you want to take seriously as a career. Like, what would be good for you? What do you think would benefit your mental health, honestly, for a job? And that's what I personally did. I'm still sort of doing that. I'm taking time back and just thinking about what I want to do to earn money, right? And maybe you need a little bit of that too. Maybe you could benefit from meditating on it or just taking some time out and thinking about it on what you want to do with your career. And that's really valid. I think that as a culture, we don't do that enough. We don't have time where we take time out and sit and think about what we really want to do with ourselves and how we want to contribute to society. I think that as a community or as a culture, we really should value taking time out and thinking about what we want to do. And I think that some of you have that opportunity here. I think some of you have the opportunity to take some time out. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to read this courage card. So it says, Let me be open to courageously take the steps that are shown. Yeah, so basically here, you're given the option to either take some time out and, work a job, maybe a part-time job for some of you, so that you have extra time on the side to really think about what you really want to do. You're giving the opportunity. Like, you shouldn't look at this, if you recently quit or were fired, you shouldn't look at this as like a terrible thing. This is just an opportunity to really do what you want to do, or at least come up with what you want to do, or take the step towards doing what you want to do. Maybe you'll get a part-time job, and in your spare time you'll go to school for something that you're more passionate about. And like, this is like one, like what I just heard in my head was one door closing, another door opening. And these are sort of like doorways too. I just noticed. I think they're supposed to be windows, but they look like arcs and doorways. So yeah, definitely don't view this as a negative thing. It might really suck to have to restart figuring out your financial situation, but I definitely think that this is really not as bad as it might seem. So right now we're gonna pull some charms. So if you have headphones on, I would suggest lowering the volume because this can be kind of loud. Okay, wow, a lot came out for you. Okay, so this one is very specific, so this might not apply to you, but this is like a little t-shirt here. And I think that some of you might work in retail. And like I said, it might just be part-time while you go to school, or it might just be an in-between job while you're trying to figure out something that just makes more sense for you. So I'm going to put that one here. Let's see. Then we have the time. So this is kind of like for what I was saying. I think some of you are supposed to be taking some time out to just think about what you really want to do. I'm actually going to put that one in financial discipline because I think it's a really disciplined thing. Okay, sorry, this one came out and I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but it is, you know what? This is going to be really weird. I heard stop looking at the glass as half empty when it's half full. And the reason I heard that is because of how like there's like it sort of looks like filled in for some of it. So like some of you might be really like devastated that you lost your job in any kind of way. And to be honest, don't feel devastated. This is just an opportunity and you really need to look at it that way. So I'm going to put that one there. And then we get the triangle. And I feel like this is just sort of like adding on to this energy of the Three of Pentacles is that, you're going to have like an opportunity that involves multiple people. It might be a triangle of people. You might have a couple friends at a clothing store or some kind of retail job. And they might just say, hey, we're short staffed right now because of the what, and we need your help. And, you don't have to do this forever, but you definitely have the opportunity to do something in between whatever you were just doing and whatever you want to do in the future. And I'm seeing a lot of like flowers and like vegetation. So I think, and like there's birds here. There's a flamingo, which the flamingo, what I'm hearing from the flamingo specifically, sorry to move on from the flowers, but the flamingo I'm hearing is like, take this with grace. Take this with grace, you don't need to panic over this. It's really just a temporary situation is kind of what I'm hearing. Same thing with this elephant. This elephant is, I find elephants to be oddly graceful, even though they're sort of big and, not graceful to most people, but they're graceful in the sense that they're really sweet animals. So like, just be easy on yourself is sort of what I'm getting from that one. Be easy. And again, with this key is sort of, I'm hearing one door opens or one door closes, another door opens. So definitely consider that this is just an opportunity. And now back to the flowers and the vegetation. There's a lot of potential for growth in this. Oh, with this one, I heard just keep swimming. So just hang in there, dude. And then we got the tree again. Again, I think this is just potential for growth. And I forget what this is called, but it is a spiritual symbol. Sorry, you can't really see it very well. It's really hard to properly show this. I'm really sorry. You can kind of see it there. It's a spiritual symbol. So what I would say is that for some of you, this is going to be like a spiritually enlightening thing. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of reflection on what you really want to do, and that's great. I'm happy for you. That's something that not a lot of people get. Honestly, this is sort of, in my opinion, a blessing in disguise. So that's all I really have to say for pile 2 here. I really hope you got something out of this. And if any of the other piles speak to you, especially this pile, honestly, if you chose this pile and any of the other piles speak to you, because I really get the vibe that this is an in-between career, or like job, really. If any of the other piles speak to you, definitely choose them. Definitely like look at them, give them like even not even just with my videos. Like if you see other videos on career that speak to you, click it. Sometimes, the thing that I really like about tarot, and specifically tarot on YouTube, is that you can never get enough videos. I find that, obviously don't overdo it, but I find that you could just watch so many videos and get so much information from it, and it can all be pretty helpful. So definitely don't be afraid to choose another pile or choose another video that isn't even me. I'm not offended by that. Okay, we're moving on to pile 3 now. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your Career 2022 reading. If you chose this pile, you chose the Bumblebee Quartz. Or no, I'm sorry, it is definitely not quartz. Wow, maybe some of you should look up quartz crystal. But anyway, you chose the Bumblebee Jasper. This is Bumblebee Jasper, not quartz. I actually really love it. I love that color. I think it's really cool, and I like how it has like a weird, cool design on it. There we go. So look up Bumblebee Jasper and its meanings, because that might be important for you. So today we have Oracle cards and Rider-Waite Tarot cards, and I'm going to be pulling everything for your Career in 2022 reading, and we also have charms that I'll be pulling at the end here. So let's get started. First we have the Page of Cups, and next we have the 7 of Wands. Okay, so for some of you, this is about starting a new job that you really like there's something about it that really connects with you on like a spiritual and emotional level. However, there is some kind of conflict within the workplace. This might not even be related to you. This might just be genuinely like a bunch of rowdy coworkers. It might not have anything to do with you. This might not be like, the rowdiness might not be directed towards you, or it is. But for the most part, I almost feel like this is like, this is not like directed towards you. This isn't like drama involving you personally for most of you. I think this is about, and this is just from my experience from working in the the thing that I can't say. I'm trying to think of a word to use. the epidemic. I don't want to like call it that, but the basically. Because of that, things have been really difficult at a lot of jobs. I was actually at a job that involved like production not too long ago, and it was extremely busy because of how things are right now. So wherever you may be working, it might not be in like a production line of any kind, but if you're working a job that has anything to do with production or retail, or honestly any job could be like a lot more difficult right now because of the thing that's going on. That's not your fault, is all I have to say. And don't let that discourage you from pursuing this in the future. Now, I don't really know what this job is particularly, because I think it's going to, maybe the Oracle cards will give me more information on that, but I don't really know what this job is going to be particularly. I think that whatever it is, you're really passionate about it, and I just feel so bad that you're like walking into like people being upset, really, and just, there's sort of a defensiveness here too for some of you. For some of you, you might be starting a new job that you're passionate about, but your manager is like on you, and you're just constantly defending yourself. And let me just tell you, and I hate to say this because I don't agree with it, you should be able to defend yourself in a workplace, but just be careful with that, because some employers take that the wrong way. So just don't be too upfront defensive. Defend yourself where you need to. obviously, like if they're just completely out of line, you know, you do it gracefully is like what I would suggest, is like don't be so upfront, right? Like if somebody is going, if your manager specifically is going to criticize your work, instead of like defending yourself right in the moment, maybe just sort of really outdo yourself the next time you have, you know, whatever you're doing. You know, for example, and this is sort of a small example, but it's something. For example, if you work at a clothing store and you folded something and your manager says it's not neat enough, then just really outdo yourself the next time, and that way they can't say anything, right? But here's another thing. If you're folding things and the reason it was folded weird is because some kind of customer came in and you know, messed with it, I would let that speak for itself. You know, try to wait until the manager sees that themselves instead of just assuming it's you. Maybe speak up for yourself. If it's an understanding manager, just say, you know, I didn't leave it like that. You know, honestly, and that might not be the best example because I feel like managers at clothing stores should be understanding of that. But that was just an example. So just try to apply that how it may apply. I'm going to pull your oracle cards now. So your first oracle card is success. Wow. Your next one is personal growth. I love the number 7. I just love it. And the next card is grief. Oh, wow, that's a really mixed bag you got here. So let's read grief. Sorry about the glare. Tears are what happen when the ice in the heart melts. So, okay, I don't really feel like you're going to be grieving anything particularly. Some of you might. You know, some of you might be grieving the fact that you have sort of like, I'm getting this message of some of you have a bad manager. I feel like some of you just have a bad manager and you might be grieving the fact that you really like this job, but your manager or higher up just sucks. But what I have to say to that is that sometimes karma does come around, okay? Sometimes these people do end up changing or they end up being fired. And I've seen it happen, right? I've seen managers come and go, higher ups come and go. You know, sometimes they get promoted, so then you don't have to deal with them anymore. So I wouldn't be too worried about any kind of icky managers, okay? For some of you, and this is a specific message, for some of you, the grief does involve you, and it is, you might have lost someone or a pet or something, and it might be affecting your work. And what I have to say to that is, you know, grief is something that takes time, and sometimes it never fully goes away. So if it's affecting your work currently, you'll probably get to a point where it doesn't affect your work. And in that case, I guess what I'm saying is just sort of, you know, take it day by day. You know, no one's expecting you to get back up on your feet and just, you know, go to work normally. You know, especially if you tell your higher up, you know, maybe that's why your higher up is getting on you, because it's something that happened in your personal life is affecting your work. And now your manager's on you. You know, maybe take some time to actually talk to them and just explain to them what has happened in your life. And, you know, some people are more understanding than you realized. You know, I've had that happen. I actually recently quit a job because of like having some mental health issues, and I just couldn't deal with having the job that I had while dealing with this mental health stuff. And so my manager was extremely understanding about that. Honestly, it almost sounds like I could probably go back there if I wanted to. I don't really want to be honest right now. I'm not really ready. But it almost sounded like I could go back if I needed to. And that's like a really understanding manager, right? I mean, so I guess what I'm saying is you'll probably be surprised with just how understanding some people can be. This success here and this personal growth tell me that you will get through whatever you're, you know, going through. I heard when I saw this, the little Annie song, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. So, you know, it might be a rainy day today, but tomorrow there's always the possibility for high sunshine, okay? And for some of you, this is a learning experience. if it's the same thing that I'm talking about where you're dealing with something outside of work, and maybe you're going to learn that you can talk to your manager, that this person might be a little bit more, understanding than you think. Maybe you're just going to learn a little bit about yourself from going through the grief or whatever. Maybe you'll learn that this, for some of you, and this is not all of you, maybe you'll learn that this job isn't for you. Maybe there's just too much conflict and you don't want to deal with it. And, if it's a specific career, you might be able to go somewhere else and do the same thing and still be passionate about it. It might just be that specific office or workplace environment. And there's no shame in that. If you don't like the environment that you're working in, definitely start looking for other environments that might be better. And that just might be the growth that you really take on. You start to understand that, that this job is more than just the actual physical workplace. So I'm going to quickly do some charms. Sorry about the sound. If you're wearing headphones, please turn it down. Okay. I don't know what that is. This is like a necklace holder. Okay, so for some of you, you might have been interested in another pile. I'm not going to say which pile it is, but for some of you, you're definitely interested in another pile. I have 2 butterflies coming out. So I have 2 butterflies coming out, and I'm putting that on the personal growth because butterflies are all about growth. Butterflies are all about growth. So whatever this is definitely a learning experience for some of you. Whether it be about your career or it be about, just outside of your career, or how to handle yourself. Or how to handle yourself within a career or a job. For some of you, you definitely belong to another pile on here. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to influence anybody, but you definitely are a 2-piler, maybe even a 3-piler. So basically, for some of you, this job might not be a permanent job. Okay. I really think that for a lot of you that pick this pile, it's a career that you recently, you maybe just graduated college for this career, right? Or you just graduated some kind of class for it and you entered an environment that sort of sucks, right? But what I'm supposed to be telling you as a tarot reader here for these people is that, the work environment isn't always the same everywhere. You can find a better manager, and you can find a better higher up situation. You can find a better environment with better people that aren't constantly causing some kind of conflict or making you feel like you need to defend yourself. So that's just something to really meditate on, honestly. If you need to search for more jobs, search for more jobs, search for more workplaces. And then we have, last but not least, in this charm reading, we have the horse. And what I think of when I see this horse is that horses are strong, but they're also fast. And so if you need to leave, if you realize that this job, this environment specifically is not for you, then take off, man. You need to take off and get out of there. There's no shame in that, right? Especially if you do have credentials, now if you do have a bachelor or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not really super versed in that stuff. But if you have the qualifications to do something, then there is no shame in going somewhere else to do that same thing. So I highly suggest doing that. I highly suggest just doing what you need to do, what's best for you, especially if you are qualified to do something, but the environment that you walked into isn't really the greatest. You have the option to find a better environment, and I can't reiterate that enough. So that is it for your reading, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope this was helpful for you. Honestly, good luck with that, especially if it's a manager that's just getting on your case. Definitely stand up for yourself if you need to, obviously in appropriate ways. And don't let anybody, push you around. Don't cause a fight, but
It's sort of hard to explain how to handle this, if I'm honest with you, because I need to know the specific situation. But just like try to be graceful.
Anyway, thank you for coming to the swamps to get your reading. I really hope this video was helpful for anyone who clicked on it, and I just want you to know, have a nice day, and I hope you come back.